역시.
요거 한번 보세요.
진짜 상징적이다. 진짜 센데요.
그쵸? 세죠? 역시 느끼시는구나, 케빈 쌤은.
침팬지를 그린 거죠?
자화상이에요.
Before I sat down to watch Parasite, I knew exactly two things about it. First one, it was from objectively worst part of Korea, and second, its official IMDb page describes it as a comedy. That is why I expected a light-hearted film with some spooky elements in it, and humor which I want to enjoy because I'm dead inside. Of course it will end with an obvious beaten-to-the-death moral lesson, something like, the real reaches were the friends you made along the way, or love conquers all obstacles, or humanity is just one of the countless species who constantly fight for their survival, and the fact that right now we are at the top of the food chain is just a lucky coincidence which could change at any moment. Oh wait, wrong Parasite. And to be completely honest, I felt pretty smart and proud of my ingenious critic senses when the beginning of the film was exactly how I expected it to be. A poor but extremely charming family comes up with an elaborate plan to take advantage of rich but not very bright folks. Immediately after I've heard this setup, I've had a very specific and surprisingly detailed plan of how this film will go on. So firstly, they will successfully deceive that simpletons and everything will be bread and butter, until our dogs will become progressively more and more greedy. This greed will force them to do some bizarre and outlandish things, and this will be the main source of film's comedy. But then, near the end of the story, the bubble of lies and deception will finally burst, and the truth will be uncovered. After that, the main heroes will be thrown back into the dark, desperate, horrific lands of unemployment. That will be the most emotional and sad part of the film, but it will not be the end just yet. Because after understanding how wrong and unfair they were, every character will come to realization what is really important for them, and the film will end with a wholesome message about how making other people happy is the biggest joy a person can have in their life.
That's all, folks.
And there I was, sitting alone in a room, tossing myself off to how smart I am, because I figured out the whole film just by its first 5 minutes. I was already considering writing a letter to Quentin Tarantino, asking him to let me direct his next big film, because I'm just that good, when the unexpected metaphorical bat hit me from behind. In short, the only part I got semi-right was the outlandish and bizarre prediction, but it wasn't a fun for the whole family type of bizarre. No, it was more of watch how people slowly descend into madness, where they lose their humanity and become something that still wears human skin but makes you terrified in a way which you can't describe with words type of bizarre. What did I feel when the credits started to roll? Probably a mix of melancholy and confusion, with a slight hint of regret that I did not strangle my one-eyed snake instead of watching Parasite, because then my life would be much more easier, and I wouldn't question my own life decisions and the point of my existence. Then I wouldn't think about who are the real parasites of our society, ones who do everything they can to simply survive, or those who selfishly sit on their mountains of gold and ignore needs and struggles of misfortunate people who simply weren't lucky enough in their lives. Thus our society promotes this mentality by creating role models out of reach and showing how money is the only way of achieving success in life. Is it wrong to judge everyone simply by how much imaginary numbers their bank account has? What will happen to us as a species if we continue to pursue this illogical and selfish path of glorifying wealth and money? Will at some point we all become just a bunch of parasites who are capable only to drain life out of everything that surrounds us? Those who are so fixated on our stupid, insignificant, egoistical desires that the whole world will go down in flames just because we want new toys to play with? Will one day the only way of saving the world from our greedy and reckless hands would be for someone to do one last, final parasite extermination? That is why sweet, sinful ways of pleasuring my mortal body would have been much easier. I could have just opened my browser, written one simple but yet comforting word, combined several fun, pure, innocent tags, and experienced a quick dose of sweet blessing before falling down into the immediate world of regret. Then I could just continue with my day like nothing happened, and would never give it any second thought. But instead I'm sitting right here, making a YouTube video about Parasite, and hoping that one day I too could become famous and rich. But we all have our sweet little lies we must continue to believe in, to stay sane in this crazy, twisted world, don't we? And the worst part of growing up is that one day we will have to face all those lies, and let them go in order to move on with our lives. One day, I will have to tell my parents that I dropped out of college to become a full-time YouTuber, only to understand that it requires having actual talent, skills, consistency, famous friends and insane luck. But it is too late to go back, so right now I live under the bridge in a cardboard box, fight for food with local homeless people, and upload my videos from free McDonald's Wi-Fi. Someday I'll tell them the truth. Someday. But not today.
Tell me